back to the subject of reaction. The degree of fear in us is shown by our reaction. Panic is never the proof of danger. It is only the proof that we have surrendered authority to an appearance. Do you see that? The wave roars, and we tremble, and at once we say, "Look how powerful the wave is." No, the wave is only a wave. It is the trembling that loans it scepter and crown. "Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith?" is not a scolding. It is an X-ray. It reveals that our fear is not born of the storm, but of our consent to it. Now, all right, let us be plain. We are not going to change the outer situation first. We are going to change the inner stance now. As you listen, let any present anxiety be the case. Let the flutter in the chest, the story in the mind, the email, the lab report, the bank statement, let that be the case. But do not enter it humanly. Do not argue. Do not defend. Do not brace. Do not appeal to a dozen truths you once read. Stand at the threshold as witness, not as attorney. Panic feels like power because you give it courtroom privileges. You let it present evidence. You let it cross-examine your piece. You let it object, and the judge within shouts, "Sustained." Withdraw the court. Close the proceedings. Silence the gavel. Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. You see? The master refuses to enter the case, and the case dissolves in that refusal. We are making only one shift, and it is not heroic. It is not from fear to bravery. It is from reaction to presence. Be still and know that I am God. Not be bold and fix your storm. Take no thought for your life. Not take better thoughts. Nobody by taking thought can contact God. In the middle path, we neither fear, love, nor hate any appearance. Neither resist evil, nor bow before it. We let the wave be a wave, and we be still. Out of that stillness, a law unknown to the senses operates. You do not make it operate. You do not coax it. It is. It is I. Be not afraid. That word is not a talisman. It is the state of non-reaction through which the I reveals itself. Now, let me say it again until it seats itself. Panic gains its authority from your reaction, not from the appearance itself. The sensation in the body, the noise of the mind, the headline, "None has power." There is only one power. But the world has taught us to reverence sensation, to consult it for prophecy, to call it fate, and so sensations become idols, and we kneel then wonder why we cannot stand. Rise, not to strike the idol, but to stop kneeling. We will not fight the wave, and we will not adore it. We will take the middle path, stand softly, and allow the presence to be what it is. Do not wait for the outer to improve before you take this stand. Do not say, "When the heartbeat settles, then I shall be still." No, be still now in the very midst. Peace, be still, was not a negotiation with the sea. It was the transparency of a consciousness that would not react. As you sit here, let that be your practice. Let the case present itself, and let it find no advocate in you. If there must be a change, let the presence bring it in. It's time. If there must be no change, let the presence be sufficiency without change. Our promise is modest and absolute at once. We will not touch appearances. We will touch the inner poise, and we will hold to it until the counterfeit authority of panic has nothing in you by which to live. Do not fight the wave. Let us be bold enough to stand where the mind cries, "Do something," and to answer, "I will not move." The world has trained us in a single reflex: react, fix, manage, rush, bow, bargain, and panic thrives on that reflex. It borrows your momentum to become a tyrant. Withdraw it, and the emperor has no clothes. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord is not poetry. It is instruction. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Do you see what that means? It means remove the only weapon panic has your consent to struggle, and you will find there never was an enemy, only a wave that rose and fell without law. Now, when I say do not fight the wave, I am not urging you to bury your feeling or strap your chest shut against sensation. No, non-reaction is not suppression. Suppression is violence. Non-reaction is relinquishment. Suppression says, I will push you down and pretend to be spiritual. Non-reaction says, I will not grant you law, prophecy, or identity. You may be heat, you may be cold, you may be a trembling in the hand, you may be a voice that says, this time is different. All right, be what you seem to be, but you do not carry the seal of God, you do not have law behind you, you do not define I. We are not pushing feeling down. We are letting it pass through a consciousness that neither hates nor worships it. Neither resist evil, not because evil deserves courtesy, but because there is only one, and appearances have no second power with which to oppose it. Here is the hidden habit, and you know it well. The mind will take anything but stillness. Give it an explanation, it purrs. Give it a technique, it applauds. Give it a ritual, it feels holy. The mind wants a project because projects keep it in office. And so in our panic, we assemble committees, breath committees, thought committees, contingency committees, yet the presence waits in silence for the one surrender that unseats the committee chair. Take no thought for your life, not take better thoughts. Nobody by taking thought can contact God. God isn't mind. You cannot think yourself into presence. You must yield into it. That is why our single move is not cleverness, but consecrated stillness. A student wrote me from Chicago. At 3 a.m., the heart thundered and the room swam. I reached for my verses, my oils, my emergency plan. Then I remembered, do not enter the case humanly. I sat up and said aloud, be what you will. I will not name you. I will not hire you. I will not fire you. I will be still. She did not count to 10. She did not bargain with God for one more hour of calm. She withheld reaction. She told me it was as if the air itself exhaled me. Do not look for her result. Look at her refusal to engage the appearance on its terms. That is the practice. So our cadence will be this, and we will return to it as frequently as breath returns without being asked. First, notice the wave. Let it be loud if it is loud. Second, notice the hand that rushes to pull levers, explanations, remedies, negotiations. Gently take that hand off the panel. Third, say within yourself, not as magic words, but as a quiet verdict, there is only one power. I am not entering this case. I am not predicting. I am not defending. I am not bargaining. And then be still, not for an hour, though an hour may come, not for a perfect mood, though peace will visit. Be still for the split second that refuses to obey panic's summons. There must come a split second of silence. In that instant, the tide of presence begins to be felt. It is I. Be not afraid. You hear it not as sound, but as an absence, the absence of compulsion. Understand, please, that you are not becoming brave. You are becoming transparent. You are not stiffening. You are softening into the middle path where waves are permitted to be waves and you are permitted to be still. If there is to be a change in sensation, let it come unannounced. If there is to be no change, let sufficiency be what it is without a change. We do not fight the wave, we do not fix it. We do not drape scripture over it like a tarpaulin and hope it quiets down. We let the appearance have no cross-examination rights in our courtroom. Neither do I condemn thee. is the master's way of closing every human case. And so it goes out not by effort, not by argument, but by famine, because you have withdrawn the food of reaction. This is the one shift, not from fear to bravery, but from reaction to presence. If you miss everything else I say, hold to this and repeat it when the mist rises. I will not fight the wave. I will not fix the wave. I will be still and know, and as often as you forget, return. As often as you remember, return. The mind will clamor for a project. Give it no project. Give it silence. Give it the unresisting space in which God is God all by himself. Then you will discover that the wave never needed your heroics. It needed only to find nothing in you that answered its call. Now, let us strip the machinery and look at it plainly. Anxiety is clever only in this. It sets up a courtroom and drafts you into every role. It posts a timeline on the wall. By noon, this must be fixed. By evening, you must be safe. By Friday, your future must be insured. And then it parades, exhibits, a pulse that misbehaves, a message unanswered, a memory of yesterday's failure. It calls witnesses, what if, and suppose, and they swear on the altar of sensation that doom is certain. And then the prosecutor within stamps and cries, Your Honor, we demand a verdict now. Do you see? The drama is not in the appearance, but in your reaction to the gavel you placed in a phantom hand. Never enter the case humanly. Never permit yourself to give human advice to your own mind. Never desire to change appearances as the first move. If you enter as attorney, you must argue. If you argue, you must gather evidence. If you gather evidence, you will find it, because imagination furnishes the courtroom with everything it requests. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge. Righteous judgment is not a suggestion to improve the evidence. It is a command to step out of the courtroom altogether and take your seat in another jurisdiction, the jurisdiction of presence where no case is docketed. Helpful thinking, be alert here, is often reaction with a halo on it, endless checking, reassurance seeking, scanning the body like a customs officer, inspecting contraband, rehearsing tomorrow's speech 100 ways to prevent humiliation. These are not wisdom. They are stenographers prolonging the session. You say, I am just being prudent. I am just being prepared. No, you are cross-examining your own piece. You phone 3 friends, scroll 100 pages, recite 10 verses, not as sacrament, but as spells, peek at your watch every minute to measure the storm's duration. All of that is entering the case. All of that is feeding it time and attention and therefore apparent law. Our instruction is singular. Become a witness, not a lawyer. Stand back within and let the appearance present itself without cross-examination and without defense. Do not object, do not sustain, do not overrule. The judge in you, Christ, awareness, has already ruled from eternity. There is only one power. Let that be the unspoken law of the court, and then keep silence. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Holding your peace is not gritting your teeth. It is laying down the right to litigate your own life. It is the fast from argument. It is the refusal to instruct God in the method of your deliverance. But if I do not manage it, won't it run wild? That is the lie by which the trial stays open. The truth is the opposite. The moment you stop trying to manage the case begins to collapse. Trials require litigants. Panic requires your side-taking. Withdraw your side, and the courtroom empties by noon. Be still, and know that I am God, is the court read in recess. Not adjourned until further evidence, recessed into presence where evidence has no jurisdiction because there is only the I. A man wrote from Boston, At 2 a.m., I felt a burning in the chest. I began the usual counting, cold water, online searches. Then your word came, never enter the case humanly. I lay back and said, present what you will. I shall not hire counsel for or against you. I will not interpret you. I will be still. He did not time the result. He did not peep at the jury. He held his peace. He told me later, it was as if the judge forgot to return to the bench, and everyone wandered out whispering, nothing to see here. Do not look at his sensation. Look at his non-participation. That is righteous judgment. So, when the docket rattles and the bailiff of thought cries, all rise, remain seated within, neither resist evil, nor bow before it. Give no counsel to the mind. It is not your God. Offer no bargains to heaven. God is not a party to your suit. Let the case, if it must, speak into a room that offers no echo. In that great quiet, the gavel falls once the word, it is I, be not afraid. And with that, not by contest, but by famine of reaction, the courtroom feeds on nothing and dissolves into nothing. Now, since the courtroom has been emptied by the withdrawal of your participation, let us take the next honest step and ask, whose case was it in the first place? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, says Scripture, not personalities, not your history, not my problem. Do you see that? We are up against universal belief, not a private flaw. The panic that seems to grip you at 2 a.m. is not you. It is a belief moving on the currents of human consciousness, whispering the same lines into a million ears. A sensation means danger. I must control outcomes. I cannot endure discomfort. I am alone with this. It circulates like a newspaper headline, and we are tempted to sign our name beneath it. Never do it. Never accept an impersonal suggestion into personal identity. This is crucial, because the instant you label it my anxiety, you grant it tenancy, you paint its name on your doorbell, and you become its host. But when you recognize this is not personal, it is impersonal suggestion, and it has no authority and presence, you have pulled the fuse. A belief has no law. A belief has no intelligence. A belief has no divine sanction. It is a rumor repeated, not a reality established. There is only one power. Universal belief is not that power. It rides upon consent. It lives on agreement. It feeds on, yes, that is me. Withdraw the yes, and the belief falls like a tent without poles. Now, let us name the common lines so you can see them as lines, not laws. A sensation means danger. No, sensation is sensation. Prophecy is added by belief. I must control outcomes. No, there is one that orders all, and your frantic hand on the wheel is not governance. It is superstition. I cannot endure discomfort. No, presence is sufficiency, whether the weather in the nerves is fair or stormy. Endurance is not required where identity is not at stake. I am alone with this. No, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Aloneness is the oldest universal belief, and it has never told the truth once. A nurse in Seattle wrote, the beeper went off. My chest tightened. I heard, you're about to faint. You can't handle this floor tonight. I was about to call in help from 3 stations and sit on the linoleum, and then the word rose. This is not personal. It is impersonal suggestion, and it has no authority in presence. I neither fought nor followed the thought. I kept charting. 10 minutes later, I realized I had forgotten to be afraid. Don't canonize the 10 minutes. Look at the recognition. She did not hire counsel. She did not make a speech to the fear. She simply refused to be a person with a private panic and let it be what it was, impersonal suggestion without law. All right, you say, but the feeling in my body is sharp. Of course it is. Universal belief often borrows flesh and speaks through sensation. It hangs a sign in the nerves, emergency. That does not grant it authority. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment identifies substance. Error has no substance. Error cannot be upheld by God, and what God does not uphold does not stand. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, not because you outshout it, but because there is no divine law to arm it. Impersonal belief is a weapon made of vapor. It looks sharp until you touch it with non-reaction and find your hand passes through. Let us be practical when the story starts. When this twinge comes, I will die. If I don't fix this disaster, if I feel this at the meeting, I will be humiliated. Stop, not to argue, but to recognize. Say within, quietly, not as magic, not as a charm, but as discovery. This is not personal. It is impersonal suggestion, and it has no authority in presence. Then do nothing to decorate it. Do not measure it. Do not timeline it. Do not post it on the bulletin board of memory. Let it pass as weather passes through sky that never becomes storm. You will find that dignity returns, and with it a strange gentleness. You will stop apologizing for having a human scene because you will know it is not yours. You will stop blaming your childhood, your diet, your horoscope, your boss, because you will know you are not wrestling flesh and blood. And as identity lifts out of the little name into the I Christ identity that neither fears nor worships sensation, the universal belief loses the right to define you. It will still knock. Let it. You will be at home in presence, and there it has no key. Now we take our feet and place them on the middle path. This is not a tightrope, but a road broad enough for a quiet heart. The middle path is simply this. We do not fear the appearance, and we do not love it. We do not study it, track it, name it with honorifics, nor make a shrine to it in memory. We do not grant it prophecy. We let it be what it is, an appearance without law, and we remain what we are, awareness without reaction. Neither resist evil does not make you a doormat. It makes you transparent to the wind. You see, wind pushes what it can grasp. It cannot grasp transparency. Now, be honest with me, because we must name the other side of fear. Worship. How does worship of sensation appear? Monitoring, measuring, spiritualizing, dramatizing. You touch your pulse 30 times an hour. You consult 5 apps. You narrate the sensation to yourself like a news anchor. You give it a title, my episode, my condition, my edge, and then schedule your day around its moods. Or you make it holy, this is my sacred lesson, my special suffering, and polish it with metaphysical vocabulary. All that is worship. The kingdom of God cometh not with observation, neither shall they say, lo here, or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. Do you see that? Kingdom is within. Observation is outward. The more you observe the sensation, the more you enthrone it. A woman in Denver wrote me, I kept a notebook, minute-by-minute tension levels, breath counts, triggers. I called it stewardship. It was not stewardship. It was incense on an altar to an idol. She did not need a better pen. She needed to stop officiating at that altar. The day she ceased measuring, she discovered that the feeling could rise and fall without appointing her its priest. She told me, I did nothing but make no meaning, and peace, like a shy animal, came close enough to breathe. Don't canonize her peace. See her practice. She neither feared nor worshipped the sensation. Here is the behavioral proof of faith, and it is not heroic. If you can allow the sensation to be present, without reaction, without commentary, without checking, without bargaining, you are already on the path of dominion. Take no thought for your life. Not take prettier thoughts. Faith shows itself by your refusal to loan attention as power. The feeling may come as heat or chill, as flutter or fog. All right, let it. It has no edict from God. It has no statute in heaven. It has no charter to define I. The proof is not in making it stop, but in not making it mean. Freedom is not in removing sensation, but in refusing to grant sensation, meaning that is the middle path. Now, someone says, but if I don't watch it, won't it ambush me? That is the superstition of worship. The sentinel at the gate is presence, not vigilance. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness is not sleep. It is the courtroom closed, the altar to sensation dismantled, the mind seated in its proper pew while the eye ministers. And mark this well. The middle path is not the goal. It is the doorway. The doorway opens into silence, and in that silence, the seeming power of panic dissolves without argument. There must come a split second of silence. No commentary, no clock, no project in which the wave finds nothing to push. It is I. Be not afraid. You will not hear it with ears so much as you will find that the compulsion to monitor is absent. And in that absence, God activity is present. Practice will look like this. The sensation arrives. The old reflex reaches for the gauges. You notice the hand on the panel. You take it off. No drama, no sermon. You say within, if you must say anything at all, I am not giving you meaning. Then let the minute pass unmeasured. Let the hour be unstoried. Let the day be uncentered on sensation. If peace comes, let it come. If feeling stays, let sufficiency be sufficiency with feeling. Consider the lilies. They toil not, neither do they spin. Toil and spin are the worship behaviors. Lily life is the middle path, rooted, effortless, unafraid, unworshipful of weather. And as you live this way, you will find that you are not guarding your life. Life is living itself as you. Presence does not argue with appearances. It outlives them until they have no authority. Now, we must say the thing that offends the proudest altar in us. God isn't mind. God is not the machinery that thinks. God is not the cleverness that solves. God is not even the storehouse of holy thoughts. Nobody, by taking thought, can contact God. Which of you, by taking thought, can add 1 cubit unto his stature, is not a riddle. It is the end of a religion of management. Do you see what this means? It means that the frantic manufacturing of better thoughts, safer thoughts, consoling thoughts cannot usher you into the presence that dissolves panic. It is not that thought is evil. It is that it is not God. The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. The letter is the thought, even the correct thought. The spirit is the living eye that moves without syllables. Let us be fair, because we are not counseling foolishness. If you must catch a train, set an alarm. If you must see a physician, make the appointment. If you must carry an umbrella, carry it. That is ordinary stewardship. But do not look to those acts, and do not look to the thoughts that plan them as saviors. They are clerks in the office. Presence is the governor. Mind is a fine bookkeeper. It is a poor king. The substitution of thoughts for God contact is the oldest idolatry in metaphysics. We polish our affirmations. We alphabetize our verses. We arrange our insights like relics in a glass case, and then in the 2 a.m. hour, we discover that relics do not rule the night. Only living presence rules, and presence is not a thought about God. Presence is God as the very I that is. Now here is the trap, and I want you to see it before it steals another hour from you. Anxiety claims that more thinking is the cure. It whispers, if you just found the right angle, the right cause, the precise label, the decisive step, the perfect logic, you would be safe. And so we pace, we compute, we review the film of our day, we audit our bodies, We construct a 12-point plan by 3 a.m., and all the while we are fueling the very fire we say we wish to quench. Thought is the oxygen of panic when thought is worshipped as redeemer. More thinking about fear is more fear in disguise. Take no thought for your life is not an invitation to sloth. It is a rescue from the superstition that safety is a product of mental manufacture. All right, what then is our way? The same way we have been given from the beginning, but let us take it now without ornament. There must come a split second of silence, not a better argument, not a brighter verse, not even a holier concept. A split second when you do not reach, do not measure, do not bargain, do not choose a side inside yourself. Be still and know that I am God. That knowing is not an equation, it is contact. It is the cessation of commentary so that the I can announce itself without a microphone. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness first, confidence as its fruit. The confidence of the mind is bravado. The confidence of presence is the absence of compulsion. Practice will be very simple and very exact. The urge to think rises. Let it rise and take your hand off the lever. If you must say anything at all, say, Father, thou knowest, and then stop. Not another word. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Prayer as turning to the ineffable I, fasting as abstaining from every attempt to save yourself by statements, projects, and inner negotiations. In that fast, thought settles into its right employment. It will tell you when to leave for the station and where you placed your keys. It will not pretend to be your Christ. And as thought resumes its humble trade, the presence, the quiet governor, is felt not as a mood, but as a law that does not need your arguments to be law. You cannot think your way into presence. You must yield into it. Yielding is not collapse. Yielding is transparency. And when, even for the length of a breath unmeasured, you yield, you will discover that peace did not need to be persuaded, and fear did not need to be strangled. The court simply had no session to attend, and the wave found no shore to break upon. Then thought, relieved of the throne, will serve, and presence, unopposed, will live its own life as you. Now, let us stop telling about it and do it. Right where you are, no theater, no posture, no better light, be as you are. Let the body be exactly as it is. If there is heat, let there be heat. If there is chill, let there be chill. If the hand trembles, let it tremble. Do not name it as power. Do not desire to change it. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment here means only this. Refuse to confer authority upon sensation, all right? Now, notice the mind's headline. This is dangerous. This is about to get worse. Do something, find an exit, fix it now. See the headline and do not answer it. Do not argue. Do not obey. Neither resist evil. Resisting is answering. Obeying is answering. Arguing is answering. Withdraw the answer. We are going to do one thing, and we are going to do it together. Take one natural breath. Do not improve it. Do not count it. Do not purify it. One ordinary breath during which you do nothing inwardly. No fixing, no resisting, no judging, no watching of the watching. If you must have a word at the door of that breath, let it be, Father, thou knowest. Then silence. The Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Let all the earth, that is, let all thought, all sensation, all argument keep silence. One breath. Now, do you see? You did not manufacture peace. You merely refrained from feeding the court. You may still feel a flutter. You may still hear a thought pass down the hall. That is not the measure. Presence is not an emotion. Presence is the awareness that remains when reaction stops. It is the I that was there before the thought knocked and will be there after the thought has moved on. Be still and know that I am God. The knowing is not a mood. It is the discovery that the I remains, unbothered, unprovoked, untouched. Let us do it once more, and this time the wave may lift a little, as waves do. All right, wave, lift. We will not fight you. We will not fix you. We will not call you prophecy. You are an appearance. You have no law. You are not I. And now we take the hand off the levers. No checking the clock, no testing the pulse, no rehearsing a plan, no negotiating with heaven. One breath, no commentary. Peace, be still. Not your command to a storm out there, but the nature of I within that has nothing to strike. Silence. Now, if you paid attention, you noticed a faint unurgency at the center of you. Not fatigue, not collapse, unurgency. That is the mark of presence recognized. The courtroom doors were not slammed. They were simply left unstaffed. This is the split second through which God contact enters a scene, not with symbols and banners, but as authority without effort. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness first. Confidence is its fruit. The confidence of mind shouts. The confidence of presence does not need a voice. Let us make it plain enough that you can practice in a train station or a hospital corridor. The sensation comes. The story opens its briefcase. You see it. You do not sign the paper. You do not improve the document. You do not tear it up. You simply do not become a party to it. One breath, no inner movements. If a word must remain, let it be. I am not entering this case. Then nothing. Not pious, nothing. Not bored, nothing. Holy, nothing. The nothing that is the open door through which it is I, be not afraid, is known without sound. Now rise, not to test, not to check if it worked, not to secure a guarantee for tomorrow. Rise to live this minute without side taking within. The wave may show itself later. Let it. There is a place in you now that knows what to do, nothing, and in that nothing the all does what it is. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still, not for an hour, not for a lifetime project. Stand still for one breath and then another when needed. This kind goeth out by fasting from reaction and prayer without words. One split second of non-reaction is the door. You have just placed your hand upon the latch. Keep silence before him, and you will discover that the door was never locked. All right, now let us bring this home where it counts inside. We have spoken of not taking sides out there. Now we must see what it means not to take sides in here. Anxiety thrives on civil war. It requires as oxygen a self-split against itself. The part that wants peace policing, the part that feels fear, the so-called adult scolding the body like a traitor, the future sneering at the past, the mind prosecuting the nerves testifying against the mind. A house divided against itself shall not stand. Do you see that? The house of anxiety does not stand without division, and we have been furnishing it with rooms. Here is the inner mechanics. A thrill of sensation arrives. Immediately a second self rises up to crush it. Stop this at once. Be calm. Behave. Then a third self enters and judges both. You are failing spiritually. And over in the corner, the past whispers, you always do this, while the future hisses, if this continues, you are ruined. All of that is taking sides. All of that is reaction. The panic is not merely the sensation. It is the war council you convene against it. The more you fight your own members, the louder the drum of fear. Let thine eye be single, not doubled by inner advocacy and inner prosecution. principle over personalities means even within you, you take no sides. Not the side of my calm against my panic, not the side of good body against bad body, not yesterday's saint berating today's struggler. There is only one identity, and it is not the frightened self and not the stern self, it is I. Christ is the only identity. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. You cannot serve presence and at the same time manage a private courtroom of winners and losers within. Choose you this day whom you will serve. Choose principle, and the personalities, even when they wear your name, lose jurisdiction. This is not neglect. It is authority. It is not indifference. It is righteousness. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment inwardly is this: I will not adjudicate between my sensations and my standards. I will not choose a team inside my own consciousness. I consent to be the transparency through which God is God. When the factions rise, refuse to seat the jury, withdraw the bench, return to the middle path, neither fear nor fascination. If you must have a cue, let it be simple and quiet. I will not take sides. Father, thou knowest. And then silence. A letter came from a teacher in Toronto. Every morning my stomach tightened before the bell. I became a sergeant barking orders at the body. Stand down. Breathe right. Don't embarrass me. I called it discipline. It was war. The day I heard, stop taking sides inside, I did no self-pep talk, no rebuke. I let the knot be a knot and refused to be either its enemy or its nurse. By second period, I noticed I had not checked it once. Do not canonize the second period. Notice the allegiance. She served principle, not personalities. She did not make an idol of calm, nor a demon of sensation. She let I be I. When the inner debate starts, should I push through? Should I sit? Should I text? Should I pray louder? Recognize that the debate is the disturbance. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. Casting the burden is not flinging fear at a distant deity. It is laying down the right to referee yourself. Take one ordinary breath, and for the span of that breath, decline all verdicts. No punishments, no appeasements, no bargains. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. The world's peace is a treaty negotiated by inner diplomats. Christ's peace is presence unopposed. You will be tempted to make calm aside, to defend it, protect it, admire it in the mirror. That is worship of sensation wearing a halo. Let calm be as incidental as a cloud. Let fear be as incidental as a cloud. Sky is your identity. I is sky. Principle over personalities means you do not clap for one cloud or boo another. You remain the awareness through which they pass without decree. And as you refuse the inner sides, the war starves. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness ends the supply lines. Knowing seals the gate. Practice will be brief and frequent. You notice the body tense. The mind reaches for the gavel. All right, catch the reach and put the gavel down. Neither command the body nor consecrate the fear. Stand in the middle path. No fear, no fascination. If a word must be spoken, let it be, Christ in me is the only I, and then fall silent. The factions will quiet, not because you have won, but because there is no court to convene. And in that ceasing, the ancient sentence lifts. A house divided against itself shall not stand, and you find the house not divided but whole, not defended but indwelt. When you stop taking sides within, you stop feeding the war that anxiety requires. Presence unopposed lives, its life and appearances unacknowledged as law, go their way without a throne to sit on. Now that you have stopped trying to win against yourself, we must touch the last altar most of us protect even in secret, the altar of bargaining prayer. Do not turn to God for anything. I know that shocks you. It is not irreverence, it is reverence. When you turn to God to get rid of panic, you have already bowed to panic as a power, and you are asking God to be a bigger power to beat it. That is still reaction. That is still outcome chasing. Ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss, not because the Father is ungenerous, but because the very asking has enthroned an appearance as law. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before ye ask him. If the Father knows, why bring a shopping list? Because we are still imagining a transaction, we must end the transaction. Prayer is not petition. Prayer is communion. Presence is not a vending counter behind stained glass. Presence is the I that already is. The kingdom of God is within you. Do you see? If kingdom is within, then the turning is not outward with terms, it is inward without terms. The moment we say, take this away, then I'll trust, we have confessed our God, the sensation. We have made fear the reference point and God the errand runner. That is idolatry in a robe. Thou shalt have no other gods before me means exactly this. Do not place an appearance on the throne and then hire God as bailiff to remove it. God is not a power wielded against something. God is the one, and where one is, nothing stands opposite. To ask God to fight is to invent an opponent for God to fight. Let us name the bargains so they lose their perfume. If you take this away, I'll be okay. Already you have written your terms and defined okay as a span of agreeable sensation. Give me a sign. Already you have turned the infinite into a carnival booth that flashes lights on command. Make me feel safe. Already you have confused safety with a mood in the body. All this keeps fear as center and prayer as weather control. A man in Chicago wrote, I paced the hallway reciting verses like invoices. I did this. Now please do that. When the knot in my chest didn't move, I got louder, then ashamed. Then came the shift. I heard, stop using me. I put every request down and could only manage, thy will be done. Then I sat. He did not receive a trumpet. He did not float. He noticed only this. The compulsion to bargain faded, and with it the hysteria. By morning the knot had not dramatized itself into a catastrophe, and by afternoon it was not the center of his day. Do not canonize the afternoon. See the surrender. Here is the replacement prayer, and it is not resignation. Thy will be done is not the sigh of a defeated manager. It is the abdication of a false king. It is the end of personal governance, the end of private courts and deals. Into thy hands I commend my spirit. Father, thou knowest. We know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us. Do you hear the relief in that? You do not know what result to ask for, because the asking keeps you in results. The Spirit knows, and its knowing is not in syllables. This is the fasting we spoke of, fasting from the appetite to be reassured, and from the habit of instructing God in methods. Prayer becomes opening, not ordering, presence, not persuasion. Practice must be exact. The next time the old reflex kneels with a contract, if you, then I refuse the ink. Do not promise. Do not negotiate. Turn within and let the prayer be recognition. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. Not as a charm to earn a feeling, but as the ceiling of terms removed. Then silence. Keep silence before him. One breath unmeasured, without inner motion. If a phrase must remain as a porch light, let it be, Father, thou knowest, and then no more. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you, added, not haggled for. And the first adding, before any weather shifts in the body, will be this: the peace that does not justify itself to your understanding. The peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Do not judge your demonstration by whether the wave retires on schedule. Do not peek to see if prayer worked. That is the old bargain in a new hat. Let God have its perfect work. When prayer stops bargaining for relief, it becomes the open door through which presence enters, not to fight appearances, but to outlive them until they have no authority. Then even if sensation lingers like a cloud on the horizon, you will not live by weather, you will live by eye, and you will find that the very appetite to ask for anything has fallen away, satisfied at its root by communion itself. Now we come to the hard word, the word our Master used when good men did all they knew and still the case stood before them. This kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. Do you hear the mercy in that? It does not condemn the disciples for failing. It directs them to a different lever. Not more argument, not fiercer will, not cleverer methods, prayer and fasting. And I tell you in this hour, fasting does not mean starving the body. It means starving the mechanism that keeps the universal belief supplied with your attention until it appears as your personal storm. You see? Some patterns will not yield to new ideas. They yield when reaction and reassurance run dry. What, then, is our fast? Modern fasting is abstinence from the reflexes that purchase panic another day of oxygen. Fast from checking your pulse, your calendar, your symptoms list, your messages to see if someone has replied with the magic sentence. Fast from reassurance, asking 3 friends to say you are safe, asking your mirror to tell you you are strong, asking a verse to glow on cue. Fast from scanning, sweeping the body with a flashlight, hunting for the tiniest signal of doom or deliverance. Fast from catastrophic rehearsal filming tomorrow's failure in high definition, scoring it, watching it twice. Fast from spiritual dramatization, using long prayers as a bargaining chip, stacking affirmations like sandbags, staging a private revival to make God hurry. Take no thought for your life. Not take better thoughts about it. This is our fast. And why? Not to punish, not to prove faith by self-denial trophies. The purpose is to remove the supply line. Panic, as a universal belief, has no law and no life of its own. It borrows yours by contract. Your checking is its income. Your reassurances, its daily bread. Your rehearsals, its advertising. Withdraw the allowance and watch the house go dark. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment says, I will not feed this case. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness is the fast. Knowing is its fruit. I had a letter from a young father in Manchester. Every night at 2, I shot upright, checked my heart, my breath, my phone, my calendar, if I died. What of the meeting at 9? I called it responsible. It was torment. He chose one fast. No pulse checking for 1 day. Not a life sentence 1 day. The first urge hit like a siren. He did not argue. He did not bargain. He took one ordinary breath, no inner movement, and if a word remained, it was only, Father, thou knowest. Then nothing. The siren returned. He repeated the same. By mid-afternoon, he wrote, the reflex still visited, but it arrived thinner, like a salesman who knows the door will not open. Do not canonize the afternoon. See the principle. The case had lost a witness. Let us make this gentle and exact. Choose one reactive habit, only one for a day. Not your worst, if that frightens you. Choose the one you can meet with honesty. Perhaps it is Googling symptoms. Perhaps it is asking your friend, am I okay? Perhaps It is scanning your chest every 10 minutes. Fast from that one thing for this one day. And each time the hand rises to the lever, take it off without drama, without self-scolding, without a substitute ritual to prove you are holy. One split second of silence. If a porch light remains, let it be, Father, thou knowest. Then nothing. No peeking to see if it worked. By your patience possess ye your souls. Patience here is simply refusal to re-enter the case. You will ask, but what if danger hides while I am not checking? That is the superstition of reassurance. Safety is not manufactured by compulsion. Safety is presence unopposed. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still for one breath and again when called for. And if you falter, do not turn the falter into a courtroom. Pick up the fast where you are. The fast is not a whip, it is a key. Remember, we do not fast to twist God's arm. We fast to unhand our own. We are ending the little bargains that keep fear employed. We are ceasing to supply a universal belief with our private signatures. And as the day closes, you will notice not necessarily a fireworks of calm, but a quiet governance, a lessening of compulsion, an unurgency at center. That is the sign, not that the sensation vanished on schedule, but that its throne found no occupant. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness first. Confidence follows. Anxiety weakens when its fuel reaction and reassurance is withdrawn. This kind does not go by heroics. It goes by fasting from the very movements that pretend to save you and in pretending keep you bound. Keep silence before him, one breath at a time, and let the case collapse for lack of your answer. Now, let us deal with the impatience that makes children of us after a good hour of maturity. You know the move. You look at the clock. You measure your calm like a nurse takes temperature. You pronounce a verdict because a flutter returned at 4 p.m. It didn't work. I'm back at 0. That is not evaluation. That is re-entering the case with a calendar in your hand. Do not judge your demonstration day by day. Judge nothing before the time. Do you see? Time is the bait anxiety uses when it can no longer frighten you with spectacle. It will now try to hurry you, all right? Our way is not to hurry, spirit. For the earth bringeth forth fruit of herself, first the blade, then the ear, after that the full corn in the ear. That is not poetry for farm hands. That is the law of maturation in you. You do not plant the word, then sit on a stool over the soil and keep scraping the dirt to see if the root is sincere. The kingdom of God is as if a man should cast seed into the ground and should sleep and rise night and day, and the seed should spring and grow up. He knoweth not how. He knoweth not how, meaning you will not track the invisible chemistry by which presence dislodges a universal belief. Let maturity bring to light. Let patience have her perfect work. Let God have its perfect work. Do not dig up what you planted to satisfy the superstition that progress must report on your schedule. A wave returns very well. That is not a defeat. That is a rehearsal space opening again so that non-reaction may be learned until the appearance has no intimidation left in it. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. Joy, yes, not because of sensation, never make an idol of that, but because each recurrence gives you the sacred fraction of a second to stand in the middle path without tribute to fear, and patience grows roots of its own. Patience is not delay. Patience is non-reaction, stretched over time until time itself loses its teeth. Now we must have a steady metric, or you will slip back into weather reports. The measure is not, do I feel perfect? The measure is, did I react less? Did I take my hand off the lever sooner? Did I require fewer words to quiet the courtroom? Was silence nearer? That is progress. A woman wrote from Lisbon. The trembling still knocked on the door all week, but I did not open with my old speech. By Thursday, I noticed I had greeted it once with only, "Father, thou knowest," and nothing else. I forgot to check for 10 minutes. Do not canonize Thursday. See the calibration. The house divided was not furnished. Presence had more air because you supplied less commentary. Practice this stabilization gently and exactly each evening. Do not inventory outcomes. Inventory allegiance. Where did I refuse to enter the case? Where did I return to presence sooner than yesterday? Where did I withdraw reassurance? Not as punishment, but as fidelity to principle. One breath may have been your entire victory. Bless it. If there was a stumble, do not turn it into a trial. Pick up the thread where you are. Remember, Saul of Tarsus did not step from the light into the lecture circuit in a week. There were years silent, interior, unphotographed before the work flowered. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Waiting here is not idle. It is abstaining from verdicts, while the invisible does what only the invisible can do. You will be tempted to peak and to declare the crop a failure because you cannot yet eat from it. Be not deceived. In due season we shall reap if we faint not. Do not faint into old measurements. Principle over personalities now becomes principle over calendars. If the appearance wishes to parade for another afternoon, that is its business. You are not its press agent. You will not supply it with headlines or resistance. Stand still one breath at a time and let the timeline be God's. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Quietness first. Confidence follows, not as a mood, but as the recognition that presence outlives appearances, outlasts clocks, and outgrows the need to prove anything to your understanding. Keep silence before Him and let maturity bring to light what is already true. Progress is the diminishing of reaction until there is nothing left in you to which panic can speak. Now, what does life look like when the heat of demonstration cools and you go back to your desk, your kitchen, your train, your night bed? It looks like life. Phones ring, babies cry, invoices arrive, and a gust of sensation may still pass the porch, but the government has shifted. The government shall be upon His shoulder. Do you see that? Not on your fragile will, not on the committee of inner voices upon His shoulder. Presence does not fight appearances. It outlives them until they have no authority. The sea is still the sea, but the boat is no longer your savior. The one who walks upon the water says, "Be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid." The same weather may visit. It is not the same world, because you are not the same governance. Identity must be anchored, or the old hirelings return to patrol the gate. Christ is the only identity. You are not a frightened organism seeking safe corridors. You are awareness resting in presence, the transparency through which I is I. In Him we live and move and have our being. I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. Let this be plain. You are not a private manager negotiating with storms. You are the place where the storm finds nothing to strike. I can of mine own self do nothing. The Father that dwelleth in me, He doeth the works. So you do not brace, you do not bargain, you do not take sides with calm against fear or with effort against collapse. You abide. Abide in me and I in you. Abiding is not a feeling. It is staying put in the one, not visiting for relief. All right? And when the old knock sounds at 2 a.m, or halfway through a meeting, or while you stand in a grocery line, the re-entry is simple and exact. First, pause. Do not answer the headline. Do not enter the case humanly. Refuse the summons. Second, recognize the universality of the belief. This is not my personal doom. This is a draft of a universal suggestion looking for a signature. It has no law. Third, take the middle path, neither fear, love, nor hate the sensation. Do not worship it as prophecy. Do not vilify it as enemy. Let it be a cloud in a sky that is I. Fourth, enter the split second of silence, one ordinary breath without inner motion. If a single word remains at the door, let it be, Father, thou knowest. Then silence. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Righteous judgment is the refusal to confer authority. Peace, be still, not shouted at waves, but recognized as what I am. This is not technique. This is obedience to principle. Do not dramatize the calendar of your progress. You may notice, even today, that a pang announces itself and you do not rise to salute it. You may find that you forget to check, that you forget to ask a neighbor to certify your safety, that you forget to build a fortress of words. Forgetting is grace at work. A child calls and you answer without rehearsing a catastrophe first. A driver cuts you off and no committee convenes. Midnight visits you and you do not host a conference. You give it one breath of holy nothing and roll the covers of presence back over the mind. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. Safety is not constructed by compulsion. Safety is the fact of I. And hear this for the road ahead. We are not going to construct a religion of resistance. God is not a power set against other powers. Where one is, the notion of opposition thins and dissolves. Therefore, presence does not fight, it abides. It does not shout, it outlasts. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. Underneath, beneath the tremor, beneath the day's headlines, beneath your learning and your forgetting, the arms remain. So we practice nothing heroic, we yield not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. Yield once and again, until the reflex finds no doorknob and wanders off unloved and unfed. Yield when you wake, yield at noon, yield at night. Yielding is not collapse. It is the discovery that the ground under you is God. You see, we do not overcome by struggle. We overcome by yielding again and again until the appearance is nothing to us. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Lo, I am with you always. With you in the train, with you in the kitchen, with you at the bedside, with you in the long hallway of the unknown. Keep silence before him, not as a feat, but as fidelity to what is. Let patience have her perfect work. Let God have its perfect work. Live quietly with the authority that requires no audience, and watch how the very appetite to measure, to manage, to bargain, loosens and falls. Presence will not argue its case. It will simply remain until there is nothing left in you that wishes to argue back. And in that remaining, the house once divided stands whole, the wind becomes weather without decree, and you find yourself where you have always been, hid with Christ in God, safe without needing to be made safe, awake without needing to control the morning.